setting to show messages. Nice. Give it a second for more people to come up. Hi RTX Rob, good to see you again. Good evening everyone. Sorry for yesterday not doing a live stream. What happened was, as soon as I sat down at the hotel, I fell asleep. I was that exhausted. Also exhausted today, but I don't know, I seem to have a bit more energy today. But yes, it is Thursday. We just finished day. Well, it's 4 of the show, but it's my 5th day here. So, yeah, as per usual, I'll give you a recap of what I've been up to today and answer any questions you may have. So today and yesterday was the first show floor. So if you don't know what happens on GDC, there's a show floor where lots of companies are exhibiting their wares, and you meet with them and you try things out. Also yesterday was Unreal Engine's State of Unreal, where they revealed or showed off more of the 5.4 features, including motion matching, animation tools, some Niagara improvements, and what else did they show? More metahuman things. 1943, they showed that off as well. The new Marvel game, which I think is not a great name for it, but whatever. Hi Jason, hi Seb, how you doing? I'm doing okay, Rob. I'm hanging in there. We've got one more day of the show left. Yeah, my feet are feeling it, my legs are feeling it, my calves especially. But yeah, the graphics do look very good on 1943. So it'd be cool to see more of that game. Apparently it's coming out next year, I think they said, wasn't it? So you'll probably see a lot more of that in the Summer Games Fest sort of lineup going on there too. So lots of cool stuff going on there. So one thing that's well, let me step back a little bit. Let's talk a bit about what the GDC floor holds. So Epic have obviously got a big booth. It's probably the biggest booth there, Epic. And they got like different stations set up where they've got technicians on hand to showcase various features like metahumans, UEFN, and so on. There's a load of them. They got that. They got a main stage where they're like doing demos, and they're really cool. I watched a few of them. They're really good. They're giving out swag. If you know what kind of swag you're giving out, got t-shirts. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so we have a look at it. Yeah, let's have a look at it. I just guessed the size. I have no idea if it can be the right size or not. Let's have a look in a second. Let's have a look. Right, let's look. What do we got here? Oh, yes. Will that be big enough? Or too big? No, I think it would be fine. Oh, cool. And it's GDC labelled as well. So exclusive for GDC. That's cool. But yeah, I'd wear that. Yeah, I like that. Cool. So we're giving that out. And with that, you get also a Lego llama. Because they've got this giant, like, it's like 12-foot tall Lego llama. And they've given you a little Lego llama. Which is kind of cool. I want to try and build that at some point, but then I might wait till I get home. And it probably just gets broken and bits get lost before it explodes, a little bits of Lego in there. But that's kind of cool. And also giving out free cookies, which is awesome because you get a snackish. So, yeah, go get the Lego llama. It just queue up, just go and get it. You get a t-shirt, Lego llama, and a cookie. And the cookies are very nice. Very much enjoyed eating those. So alongside Epic, you've got Unity there, Meta, Godot, however they're pronouncing it. And they're the sort of big ones. There's no like Sony booth or Xbox booth. Xbox do have a kind of presence there, but it's not much. It's mostly the engine guys that are there. Alongside that, you've got some motion capture studios doing quite a lot of things there with their full rigs and set up with motion capture suits and stuff. Various games on show, and also we've got delegations from different countries trying out things going on there. So Matt Aspland is there with his studio. So me and him met, and I'm going to try out his game tomorrow. And that was cool. We caught up and talked about YouTube stuff. That was neat. And then what else? Yeah, and I played some of the game from SCAD, which is the college in Georgia. The games course students there. I played 2 of their games and they're really, really good. I'll share them once I've got the footage. I've got recorded some footage. We're going to make a video of it next weekish, and we'll share links to their games so you can wishlist them because they're really good. Yeah, really enjoyed them. And yeah, so tomorrow's docket is just to continue going around the show floor and see some of the things we didn't see. There are some really cool alternative games, like it's what we call Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. I don't know. I can't remember what they call it now. But it's a lot of people making like weird, bespoke, interesting controllers and devices and games with that. So there's one game that stood out and I really liked it. Is that you have a barcode scanner and they are printing out. They print out like a barcode like sticker, and you scan it, and it tells you what you've got to scan. And they've got on the screen load of items come by with their barcodes, and you've got to scan the right ones. So sort of like almost like a light gun game. That was really cool. And there's another one that's a wheelchair like simulator. So you're sitting in an actual wheelchair and you use it to like control your movement as you're rolling down. You brake and things like that. It's really cool. So I really like that stuff. That's good fun to see. But not too much on the show floor today, as we spent most of the time wandering in between meetings. So meeting some marketing people mostly today. So we talked to some marketing people about Mimic, which, by the way, if you have not seen, has been selected as an official game of London's Games Festival, which is about basically 40 games are selected out of all the ones that apply, and Mimic is one of them, and we're labelled as one of the 5 best of British games, which is excellent, and it's great recognition for the game and for me, and I'm very thankful for London Games Festival for selecting us for that. Speaking of Mimic, their closed beta for Mimic should be starting next week. So we're starting off with like a phased into the beta with Patreon members, and then we'll slowly get more and more people in. We'll record some of the sessions, put it up, and talk about what we're learning from these focus groups, because they are focus groups essentially at first. We're testing to make sure the game is fun and enjoyable and made sense. So people invited to that will get a full brief breakdown of how to approach that when that happens. So look out for that. I'm going to say next week. It should be next week. We'll see. And that's it. So tomorrow is a big day of meeting publishers and investors. So we've got a lot of cool meetings lined up there. Hopefully we get some good feedback from there and good contacts. Yeah, overall a good experience of the week. And what I'll do is tomorrow evening we'll do a big roundup review of the whole GDC experience, because it's my first GDC, and I'll tell you, like, was it worth it, basically. Okay, so a couple of questions. By the way, this is a question time, so feel free to ask any question you like. I obviously don't have Unreal Engine with me, but I can try and answer whatever I can. Especially if you have any questions about GDC or game dev or whatever you want. If you don't mind me asking, what are you using for online services? I'm using Epic Online Services for Mimic, and also Epic's account services for Mimic. So it's got cross-play support and things like that. And I chose the services because I wanted to learn those services, and I thought let's try it. And I really like it so far. So far, so good. It's pretty streamlined, pretty simple. Um, yeah, good backend. That's the thing is that I think Epic's backend is better than Steam's backend, at least currently. It's a little bit more easier to navigate around and find what you want to find and analytics and things like that. So we'll see how it goes when we get live data going into it. But so far, it's quite nice. Epic Game Store's backend now. But it does support cross-platform play, so you can Steam players can still play with Epic players, and when we release some consoles next year, they'll be able to play with each other as well as the PC people. So yeah, lots of cool stuff to plan out. Does EOS have a system for cloud storage? Yes, it does. Cloud storage, achievements, stat tracking, even has like player reporting features. So you can set up a thing where people can report players or grievances, and those tickets will come through the back end, and I can then go through, or whoever, it can go through the back end ticket system and see which players are grieving, which ones should be banned or blocked from the game, or resolve the issue, or we can do all sorts of things like that. So which is really quite nice. We've got that sort of ticketing system there for that. There's also, because it's cross-platform login support, there's a lot of backend as well for handling things like logging in with your Steam username, logging in with your Xbox username, PlayStation username, Switch. You've got loads of options of how to log in, and so it's a matter of like obviously testing that and making sure that works, and it's kind of streamlined for the user because obviously we make it as easy as possible for them. I had no clue it was that extensive. That's crazy. Yeah, it's really good. There's some really cool things in it, and I said the back end's really nice. The way they report analytics and things like you can see the matchmaking buckets and see all the players which matchmaking lobbies are in, and you can sort of help track things like that. Yeah. Animator Alex, was there any behind the scenes upcoming info you had a chance to see for Unreal 5.4 that wasn't showcased in the State of Unreal or Tech Talks? No, I'm not giving any sort of special treatment like that. There's some stuff I knew about before. I didn't know when it was coming out. I think it's coming out in 5.4, but I have to double check. But yeah. Greetings from Argentina. Question: do you have a tutorial on shooter enemy AI to recommend? I'm at the point on my project. Yes, there is some shooter AI tutorials I've got for things like that. It depends what kind of AI you want to try and do. I need to do more on shooter AI to show how to get into cover and things like that. But if you want to do like getting into cover and popping out of cover, check out the latest AI series. There's a section in that where we talk about how to get AI to go in and out of cover using EQS. It's worth checking out for that. But I would obviously learn the basics of AI to help you get started, obviously. So you understand what behavior tree does, how it works, the blackboards, and all that stuff. Chair, I noticed that the large landscape import support card disappeared from the future looking at roadmap. Also doesn't appear in 5.4 roadmap. Hope they didn't drop it entirely. I have no idea. What was it all about? Large landscape import support. What was it importing? What are some ways to determine minimum hardware requirements for a game package as a developer? Yeah, it's a bit tricky, that one, because obviously this is the problem that you have with PC development. So as much stick people give consoles, things like that, developing for consoles is a lot easier because you know what the end result is. You know how to test it. If it works on your Xbox, it'll work on everyone else's Xbox. So it's a lot easier. PC is very difficult because everyone has a very different, unique SKU, like their different hardware setup. So there's no real hard science behind it. It's a matter of just testing. So when we test, We've got these open betas and closed betas and things like that. We're usually testing with different types of machines. So if I'm testing, like when we do open beta and closed beta for Mimic, we'll be collecting people's DX diags so we can see what kind of specs they're running. So if they run into any issues, we can sort of like, oh, everyone that's using an AMD card is having this issue, so therefore we've got to fix an AMD issue. This is why you see so many patches come out of PC games at launch, more so. Also why you see some console games coming out on PC at lower resolution, poor performance, that sort of problem. Yeah. That sounds great. What's the name of the series? The series is just the AI UE5 series. It's the latest AI videos on the channel. Ryan, you look a bit tired. I am very tired. And I will be going to bed in a second. Let's say it's 5 to 12 at midnight tonight. I was tired 6 hours ago. Yeah. 3 kilometer, 32 kilometer tiled imports basically. Oh, okay. Yeah, not too certain. I've never heard of it, so I can't say. How much upgrade issue development do you expect to happen between 5.3, 5.4? Do you expect transition to be heavily game breaking? It shouldn't be. But my advice for people who are currently in middle development is don't upgrade. If you don't need a feature, don't upgrade. No point. So Mimic is still in 5.1. So don't feel pressured that you have to be in the latest version, because you don't. Unless there's something crucial in that engine version that you need, then sure, go ahead. But always make a backup. It will tell you if you change the version number. It will usually ask you to make a backup anyway. So yeah, but for the most part, don't bother updating. You don't need to. You'll see that most studios don't update. A lot of them are still using Unreal 4. Any word on skeletal meshes and nanites? Nope. Nanite meshes. The reason why you can't be used as skeletal meshes at the moment, at least, is that nanite meshes cannot be deformed in that sort of way. So I'm sure they're working on it, but I don't know any news about that. Did you hear that screaming meltdown of all the game developers doing that at GDC? I saw the news posts. I wasn't actually there. I don't know when it had took place, or I didn't hear it. But I saw the news posts about it. People venting frustration about the layoffs and state of the industry. Yeah, it's frustrating. I don't know what the screaming does, because the executives know what the state of the industry is. They know people are frustrated. They're not deaf to it. They're not blind to it. So I don't know what it's solving. I think you'll find that most game devs are were just cracking on getting work done. Yeah. Your surname means the law in Spanish. Here you are, Ryan the law. That's amazing. Why has my wife never told me that? Because she's fluent in Spanish. I'll double check with her. Maybe it's a different dialect. I don't know. Crazy Boa upgrade to 5.3. I noticed significantly better lighting and graphics when looking at assets, perhaps same in 5.4. Yeah, 5.4 they did say has got improved performance with Nanite and Lumen, which is great because Lumen is especially a big resource hog. In Mimic we turned it off. We don't need it, and it was just eating up like processing power like mad. How can I learn UE4 C++? I have a list for if you have a list for UE4 C++ learning. Thanks. I don't have a list to follow, but what I tell people to do is make sure you learn C++ first, get an understanding of the basics of C++, understand what C++ is, and then have a look at the UE4 engine, and look at the documentation and start learning how the unique things about UE4's engine, because they've also got a load of extra bits as part of their engine. But no real hard resources I can recommend really. Just learn generic C++ first, and then worry about Unreal specific C++. Because if you just go in straight blind with Unreal C++, you're going to get really confused, because there's stuff in there that's unique to Unreal and not anywhere else. And when you start Googling it, you may find that the things don't line up. Once you understand that it's different, then you should be better off. 5.3, they've got a lot of Lumen and Nano stuff finalized in 5.4. They optimized, added view modes. Yeah. So things are looking better. I'm looking forward to getting back home and trying it out. I can report back on it properly. But yeah, we'll see what happens next week when I get to try it out. I've got a few videos planned as well to record for next week that I've picked up some tips and tricks from the show. I'm really going to try out and basically regurgitate back out to you in interesting ways. Jason Tar, do you know if you can turn Lumen on or off on a level instance, different maps, or is it global for a project? I think it's global for a project. I think, yeah. There's a lot of talk about performance improvements for multi-threading and GPU rendering. Are these factored into packaged games, or are those only for editing enhancements? Good question. I don't know. I'd assume so, but I don't know. Yeah, there are Lumen settings you can turn off and on, Jason, that's right, yeah, from Volkula, yeah. In the post-process settings. And in the world settings, you can turn on some Lumen settings there. I don't know about the shadow maps, because that's the thing that kills it, is the shadow maps. I'm not too sure if you can turn those on or off. It's hard to tell without being in front of me, so I'll have to look. Question missed. Oh yeah. How can one go about lighting a post-process for a level to look more realistic? Any specific setting that you could suggest? I mean, there's no magic button to set it. And also, realistic is a weird thing to think about, because usually when people say realistic, they mean filmic, which, because they're trying to make it look like a film and cinematic. And cinematic films are lit very specifically and shot very specifically. So realism is a very big gradient of a curve to worry about. But generally speaking, you want to be using, making full use of PBR shaders. So looking at material editor, you can use full use of like metallic, speculars, and ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion is a big one. It really is helpful to have that in there. Fogging, depth of field. Yeah, it could be anything. One tip for more realistic lighting: use the physical light units and temperature on you. Yeah. So if you don't know, if you're doing a real light, like I've got a lamp here. If I was doing this lamp in Unreal, it is a LED lamp, so it's more white. If it's a filament lamp, it'll be more yellow. Yeah, more like incandescent bulbs, they'll be more yellow. Whereas bluer bulbs are more for like LED white lights. This one, I don't think actually this is LED. I think this is halogen. Oh no, it's LED. It's got a coloured shell on it, but no, it's LED. Yeah, so if you're doing any diegetic lighting, yeah, use temperature. But don't forget, you're not aiming for realism usually. Usually you're aiming for a very filmic perspective, which the best thing to do is look at how film does it and just mimic what film does. That's some good advice there. So just check out and learn lighting techniques for film and apply the same thing, because lighting, the way lighting works in Unreal is because it is all based in real life, based on physical based rendering, PBR. So if you look at how we do it in real life, it's just basically the same you do it in games. How do you deal with lighting a large room, let's say a warehouse, without exterior lighting and be able to light the entire warehouse well without overlapping too many lights? So you got a sneaky little trick you can do, which I've done for like caves before. So if you put another directional light in your map, make it very, very, very faint, so like 0.5, like really low, and change the colour to whatever you want. And then make sure it doesn't cast any shadows. And what you'll get is a light that lights up the whole entire area as like a blanket light. It's not realistic, but it's a really quick, easy way to get that sort of filmic look again across a whole entire large level without any extra work. And it's relatively cheap. Otherwise, you're looking at using spotlights and making them very, very wide cones. You very rarely have a point light in real life. Most of the time, the things are spotlights that cone out. So just make the cone very, very wide and very, very large. Inner cone as well. How are you feeling off this long week? Tired. My feet hurt. My legs hurt. My throat, you can hear it now. I've been talking too much like all week long. It's like, whoa. So getting there. Yeah, it is hard, especially because I like miss my kids and my wife as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting home. We've got a couple more minutes and then we're going to call it that because I'm going to go to bed in a second. But any last questions? Would you use a spotlight for a rectangular light fixture or a light? Oh yeah, if it's rectangular, like use a rectangle light fixture, obviously. Same true for like light tubes. Use a rect light for that. And just change the barn doors to be wider. But I say like the directional light without cast shadows works surprisingly well, and it's very, very simple to do. Otherwise, you can put a post-process setting on your camera, which you can just compensate for exposure, and you can knock the exposure up a little bit, so everything looks a little bit brighter. You do that. No problem. Crazy about how to avoid padding and an unnecessary amount of details in games. As using the same asset twice better the performance. Yes. So if you use the asset multiple times, yes, it does improve performance massively. And if you want to go even further, you can use instant static meshes as well. I did do a video on this at ISMs because I haven't done a video yet. But basically, the gist of an ISM is if you were to place a single static mesh into your scene, so drag it from your content browser into your scene, and there it is. So let's say it's a rock, okay? Now that rock has tons of information about it. It has not just its location, rotation, and scale, but it has its collision profile, physics settings, if any, nav mesh settings. It's got like all these different various settings that are available to it, which is all stuff in memory that has to be loaded. So what instant static meshes do is basically it says like all of these rocks, whatever, have the same settings. Don't store it for each one. We have the same settings, and we're going to make load of instances of the same one. And all it's doing is storing in an array all these meshes, but they're different orientation, rotation, translation, and scale. So you can use them as the transforms to position them wherever you want. This is obviously very, very more efficient because now it's not loading up the same information 10 times. It loads the information once and copies it 10 times. So it's a little bit, it improves performance a little bit. So yeah, loading up things like that really work well. You also find some people will, it's less of a problem nowadays, but back in the day, people used to stick on textures onto a same texture sheet, and it would load up one texture sheet rather than 10 of them. You get one, but that's less done nowadays. Same as material instances. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically saying, oh, this one's got all the exact same settings. It's actually a little bit different because material instances are basically saying they have they have some configurable settings that you can change, and there's a bit more information there. Instance static meshes are literally just translations. That's all. So it's like a blueprint with this ISM static component, and you just choose what mesh, and you then choose all the different transforms for it. That's correct, Volt Killer. Yeah. You can use material instances with all the different options available to you. But if you are, say, using the same settings over and over again, just make a child of it or duplicate of it and use that instead. It'll be a little bit better too. Does DirectX data collection happen via Steam or Epic servers? I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that, so I don't think. If it is, it's not collected by me. I don't know, or like a developer. I'm entirely certain. I was going to ask, how would you make an AI who wandering randomly tend towards a location so they don't wander too far? So I create a thing called an anchor. So I put an anchor when they spawn and save that transform as on their blackboard tree. And I basically say, like, where you do like get random point and location and on the navigation mesh, rather than using the actor's origin as the actor's location as the origin, use the anchor as the origin for that random range. It helps a lot. You can also then do two things. Like you can actually do like another like intersecting thing. So you can do like two of those and find a random point in two of them and average it. You can do that as well. Okay. So I think what we'll do, we'll call it there because I want to go to bed. But we are live again tomorrow for a full wrap up of GDC and what it means. My top tips, what I've learned from GDC that I can pass on to you. So if you are thinking about going to GDC, what can you do next? And also give you some ideas about how I think the meetings went tomorrow. So I have no idea what time it'll be at all. I'll probably maybe the same sort of time. I probably will go out with people at the end because everyone's celebrating the end of GDC. So I'll probably be about the same sort of time as it is now. But we'll call it a night. Thank you so much everyone for watching and subscribing to the channel. If you have yet to subscribe, make sure you do. And if I've met you here at GDC, it's been a pleasure meeting you. And if you've yet to meet me at GDC and you're here, come find me. If you're unsure where I am, feel free to message and I'll tell you where I am at that time. Okay, take care everyone, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye. I always forget where the stop button is. There it is.